What is up, everybody, and welcome back. Today we are going to be looking at the Mercuriall ReAxis plugin. I want to thank JMP right off the bat. He kindly reminded me that this plugin existed, and yeah, so I downloaded that thing and I want to take a look at it. A little bit of backstory before I jump into this thing is I actually used to have a Mesa Boogie triple rectifier. By the way, if you guys are triggered easily, definitely keep watching. So yeah, I used to have a Mesa Boogie triple rectifier, didn't know what I was doing whatsoever as far as setting up amps. I've gone leaps and bounds since then as far as setting up tone, but basically, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It sounded very trebly, sounded very high pitched. It just wasn't for me. I couldn't get a whole lot of metal tone out of the whole thing. Obviously, there was a whole bunch of pedals I could have used to probably accomplish that, but that was my first encounter with Mesa Boogie. Obviously, it's an amazing company. It was a complete user error, but well, you know. By the way, if you guys were triggered by that story, the best thing you can do for yourself when you're triggered by anything is subscribe to my channel. Let's dive into this thing. So in typical me fashion, right, this is something I would totally do. I did an entire screen recording, entire screen grab of running through the entire plugin and deleted it afterwards. So I get to do it again. All right, guys, so we're on screen right now with the ReAxis, and one of the cool things about the plugin is it came with some presets. When I say some, it came with a shit ton of presets. Some of them from Ola England, which is cool. We obviously all love that, the godfather of plugin reviews, and then a whole bunch down here. I'm not going to go through all of them because it would take me all day, but yeah, I think they got something for everybody in that one. Here's your EQ. You've got a gain, treble, mid, bass. You got a lead drive 1. That's for the lead 1 voicing over here, and then lead drive 2, which pertains to any one of these that you have highlighted on the right side, LD2. Then you've got the master, presence, and D-voice. So right now, let's go through one of the presets from Ola, which is Preacher's song, which I imagine he's modeling after Preacher's Death. And let's see what that sounds like. All right, so that's Preachers. Also, on the right-hand side, you guys have your power amp section, because this is obviously just the EQ, the preamp section of it. So they threw this in. You've got a master here, and you have a presence. The presence I just leave all the way down. I haven't messed with that once, but. And then, of course, you have a cab section here on the right-hand side. I'm not using it. I'm just using my Beast impulse response. If you guys are interested in that impulse response, by the way, you want to achieve this tone, look in the previous video. I gave it away in a Dropbox link in the description of my previous video. So I guess I'll link that video in the description of this video. Yeah, I think that'll work. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So here's, we'll do that. Let's do the lead. Let's see what the lead sounds like. Sounds interesting. Let's see what else we have. Let's do one more, and then I'll move on to what I dialed in. I haven't even tried all these, so let's just pick a random one. Let's do Wild Turkey. Wild Turkey sounds interesting. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, Wild Turkey. I know I said I was going to do any more. Let's do one more. Let's try Nickel Crap Recto. Right. kind of reminiscent of the triple rectifier that I used to have. You know, like I said, that tone that it has, it's got a very tinny, very high-pitched type of a voicing to it. Now, I realize that when you have an amplifier, you can always EQ the shit out of it, throw some pedals on it, and then end up making whatever tone, you know, making it sound like whatever you want to make it sound like. But it's always still going to carry its own voice to it. And yeah, I just wasn't necessarily jiving with the triple rectifier. Not to say it's not a good amp. It's a good amp. I know. It just didn't really work for me. But yeah, so let's move on. This is the let's move on to the tone that I dialed in. And I'll show you guys what I'm using. Like I said, I'm using the impulse response that I gave away. I am using an outside plugin for the tube screamer, and I'll show you guys. That's this bad boy right here, the TSE 808. If you go over here to the effects section, yes, that already has one in it. The tone didn't necessarily sound like what I was looking for, so I brought in the outside tone, brought in the outside plugin, and that's it pretty much. And this is what that sounds like. Here's my preset, by the way, if you guys want to look at where everything's at. Not using the D-voice at all, using a touch of presence, and yeah. I should probably turn on the tube screamer first. Hang on. Here we go. Sounds good. Sounds good. I was able to dial in a pretty good tone. Obviously, I had to bring in an outside impulse response, and I had to bring in a different plugin. But like I said, you know, I'm kind of messing with something that that I kind of knew wasn't going to be geared towards what I like to begin with. So, you know, do what we have to. But you know, one of the really cool things that I found, because if you guys go into the post effects section, that's where you guys have your chorus, reverb, and delay. And I said this before, I love it when you guys have an all-in-one, because they already have it configured in the post. Instead of having to take all these outside plugins, configure them correctly inside of your DAW, which is a pain in the ass, because sometimes it just ends up messing with your tone way too much. So when it's already in here, it's great. But in the pre-effects section, you have this wah pedal. Now, I don't have a controller to use the wah pedal the way it's supposed to be used, but if you kick it on, you kind of have like a lead tone cheat mode almost, because it basically gives you such a treble boost in this really weird frequency range that all your leads just kind of sound like mush. So sounds pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, it's on. Kirk Hammett-esque in the lead department. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I really can't see a practical use for that. I mean, unless you kind of drop it in the middle of a lead while you're recording, but I thought it's pretty fun to play with anyway. And then of course here on the left, completely forgot to mention it, but you have a noise gate, which works very well. I haven't had any noise bleed or anything like that, so sounds pretty good. You know what I also realized the other day is that this guitar definitely is not getting enough love. And when you have something that's modeling such a classic amplifier, a classic metal company like Mesa Boogie, I thought it'd be fitting to throw in some EMG tone in there for you guys so you know what that sounds like. Combination actually sounds really good. This guitar just brings in such a different dynamic to this tone. It's crazy. That's it. All right, so that is pretty much it for me. As always, if you guys have any questions or anything regarding how I achieved this tone or anything you'd like to know about this plugin, feel free to leave it down in the comments. I'll get to it as soon as I can, or I'll throw it up in one of my next videos. And as always, please like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.